New at 9 and only on Fox 13. Today, dozens of young inmates were led back into a juvenile detention facility. It's a move the state fought and lost in court. A judge ruling the state ignored its own past legal agreements when it moved those prisoners in mid-July. Good evening and thanks for joining us for Fox 13 News at 9. I'm Nia Wong. Tonight, Matthew Smith breaking down a months-long saga that the state's scrambling for answers. Matt?
Well, Nia, our investigative team has been working this story for months now. Things have gotten so bad at the state's juvenile facilities, they stopped taking in any new inmates. That's angered everyone from judges to counties, all of them now stuck trying to figure out where do you actually house young convicts after they've been convicted. Well, the Department of Children, Youth and Families tried to clear bed space by shipping 43 inmates to adult prisons, but the state got slapped with an injunction. Now, after multiple court battles and losses, DCYF is back to square one as criticism for the embattled state agency continues to grow.
It's images you'll only see on Fox 13. A bus transferring dozens of inmates back to Green Hill, the state's juvenile facility for its oldest inmates.
So just kind of very bad and traumatic experience for a lot of people. At Green Hill School, we were all talked about on the bus.
That's the voice of Kaya Lene, one of the inmates that returned to Green Hill today. The back and forth growing frustrating. Just in June, he was speaking at a DCYF graduation, highlighting why the state rewrote rules to keep teens and young adults in these facilities longer, until age 25. The goal was to rehab. But when the facility got too full and too dangerous, Kaya was among 43 people grabbed, frisked, and shipped to adult prison without notice.
And what will the institution be doing to prevent this very situation from occurring again?
Which landed DCYF in a Thurston County courtroom. The real issue? There's so many young people inside of Green Hill that it's dangerous. The state claims they were on the verge of an all-out riot. Even after the state moved the 43 inmates in mid-July, they still had too many people to take in new juveniles convicted of crimes. But the legal issue here is whether DCYF broke its own legal agreements that mandates, among other things, hearings for inmates before shipping them off like this.
The department retained the ability to do what they did on July 12th in much the same way that they would have done had half the facility burned down and locations needed to be made for those individuals.
The facility didn't burn down. So let's move back to the settlement agreement that your clients voluntarily entered.
The state has taken loss after loss, leading us to today. DCYF bringing 43 young adults back into Green Hill, a move the state's lawyer had said was akin to pouring gasoline on a fire.
We are concerned for managing the safety on that campus, as well as then how do you providing a rehabilitative environment. There are 185 young men on that campus who had a different experience the last 2 weeks. There were less call-outs, there were less incidences of violence, there was more engagement in programming. That's not really hard narrative to thread here, but that's just the reality because of numbers.
Yet there are many who say none of this was sudden. Amid a growing number of fights and brawls caught on camera and months of reporting on it by us here at Fox 13, it was clear that the population was growing out of control. And while the state has called it sudden, everyone from prosecutors to judges have called out the state, saying this was an emergency long before the state announced it could no longer accept young people behind bars in July. So now, as young people return to the facility already considered over capacity, it's unclear what comes next.
It is clear we need more capacity in our JR system and JR space to serve a population that demographically looks different. They're with us longer. They need different settings. We need more capacity, and we don't have it. And you can't acquire and build overnight.
What else is clear is that at this point, DCYF is in some trouble. They have too many people and not enough beds or facilities. This is counties want answers as they are struggling to keep up. Now, we do know that the state is planning to open another small facility, but that could take weeks, and even then, it only houses a handful of these juvenile offenders. Nia?